All right, let's get into this conversation now. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula has confirmed that Police Minister and NEC member Senzo Mchunu will appear before the party's Integrity Commission. He is accused of having links to criminal cartels which allegedly infiltrated the country's criminal justice system. Mbalula is with us tonight in studio to talk us more about the ANC's National Working Committee meeting outcomes. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much for being here.
Good evening, Polly, and all the listeners after a long time.
Indeed, it has been a long time. We're going to come to matters before the Madlanga Inquiry in a short while. First, I want to begin with the state of the municipality, but also linked with the stable, or should we say, the uncomfortable nature of the government of national unity. How stable is the GNU? And I speak specifically on the provincial level, including local government level, given the ructions that we saw recently between Patriotic Alliance, EFF, and the party, your party, in the mix here. How's the ANC managing these tensions?
Clearly, we are managing tensions in the coalitions at local government. From time to time, you'll have, in a lack of better words, what I call skirmishes, which do arise and we do overcome. Some of them should be avoided because we need stable coalitions in local government. And what we have seen in Johannesburg, which is what partners are dealing with at that level, we think it is not something that amounts, out of control kind of situation. It should be resolved amicably among the parties.
Today, you sought to almost shut down the negotiations between the ANC and the Patriotic Alliance, saying that really we need not be seized with whether or not Kenny Bunene is going to go back as MMC of Transport. What's the final word there?
We shouldn't be having that discussion because we are all equal partners in the context of unregulated environment of coalitions at that level, because it's not based on threshold. We are equal in a sense of all of us who have agreed to be in a coalition to form government, and we need to respect each other. So Patriotic Alliance in the coalition have agreed with all partners there that they will get transport. And what have happened is that Kenny was affected by what affected him, and his party dealt with the matter. But it did not mean that the Patriotic Alliance will forgo the position of transport. So that's why I'm saying some of the skirmishes should be avoided. And as a result, it would have meant that once he goes, Patriotic Alliance will bring somebody else, and that person will occupy the position departed by Kenny. Yeah. So we don't need to fight about that and the back and forth about it. So we hope that will be settled in the discussions among partners.
I'm really desperate to move from this. Is there an explanation from the Patriotic Alliance as to why it is that they are so married to the position of MMC of Transport?
I wouldn't say they are married. It's what was agreed to right from the onset. Like all other parties will argue their case if you were to remove them one way or the other from the positions that have agreed. The ANC, we ourselves, for us to get to the position of a mayor, it took us some time, and we must respect partners because they put us there. We didn't win the majority of vote in Johannesburg. That's why we're in a coalition. And the fact that we are having bigger numbers and they've come to the point of respecting us to lead as the mayor, we must respect them. Otherwise, they would have done what others have done in the past, come together, kick us out. So for what they are, was agreed to in terms of the negotiations, let's stood by that because we are in a coalition government with them.
All right, let me move on, although I'm not quite satisfied. Maybe we'll circle back to that point.
Okay.
Let's talk about the residents, because that's who matters most here. The people, whether you look at Johannesburg, you look at the municipality in the Free State that has long been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Municipalities are basically falling apart. And still, in the majority of these, it's the ANC that's leading. Aren't you worried that going into these elections, you're going to lose even more municipalities?
We will lose more municipalities if we fold our arms and we look at the rot and we allow it to go unabated. Our action plan is not just a rhetoric and slogan. It is about intervention on the weaknesses we have identified. And then we are monitoring the implementation of it that was launched in the public by the president through what we call marching orders. That the action plan speaks to issues of governance that must be rectified, issues of leadership. And Oli, you are going to see us, as we committed in the action plan, talking through action. In the next 3 months, we'll give you a feedback.
Yeah.
I've seen what the Auditor General is saying. It's exactly what pains the president and what he was talking about, that we are the majority. And when these results come, they don't make us look good as the ANC and the party that is leading in these municipalities.
Yeah.
And that is what that NEC was about and the roll call was about. And we have charted the way forward, and where we have seen the deficiencies, we are going to be dealing with them going forward.
Let me cut to the chase here. The person who seems to describe exactly what is wrong with the ANC and what has resulted at local government level is former President Thabo Mbeki. He was addressing in KwaZulu-Natal this past weekend, and he says the ANC has to cleanse itself of the people that have come in, and all that they are seeking is self-enrichment. What do you interpret his comments to be?
We have long characterized the incumbency since of the ANC, since when he was president in 1996, General Council, our first General Council, since the unbanning of the ANC and us being in power. And in that General Council, we talked about the ANC being mortgaged. We have been grappling with that, patronage, mortgage, and all of that. And then we have now reached a particular stage in terms of dealing with the issues from the last two conferences of dealing with corrupt elements or people implicated in corruption and are facing justice. Yeah. And we have elevated the stature of the party in terms of dealing with such matters. They might be inadequate, but the ANC have taken rigorous steps to deal with such. In terms of local government, because that's where you are driving me to, is that incidences of individuals committing acts of that bring the party in disrepute and undermines proper governance, we are acting and we are going to act. And like I told you, it's better to be said in action than words, and because that is what people believe. People are not going to eat rhetoric and slogans, they want action.
What about competence, Mr. Mbalula?
Competence is very important, Poli. We are the first to admit that in most of our municipalities were factionalized, incompetent people. Some municipalities, even now it is even better. You had people who don't even have post-matric qualifications as municipal managers appointed. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how you could see that situation happening in the municipalities. We are eradicating that now as we speak, that we found in the municipality through our own audit we are doing, and is in the works now. As part of the action plan is coming live by November, which will tell us also another story of auditing our capacity in the municipalities and so on, because only management of the municipalities is appointed by councils, and councils are voted, and we are leading. And if there is incompetence and people who don't have capacity, it reflects on the ANC, and that is the reality. And that's why our image and of this vehicle is battered, and it's not going to be rectified by masking difficulties and telling the untruths. Action will take us back to where we belong.
Very quickly, are you anticipating major losses? Because what you are saying now, the people will say, we've heard it before. The ANC has been self-correcting for many years, and it just does not appear it is getting it right. Are you prepared for major losses in the upcoming elections?
We don't, prepare for major losses. We prepare to regain the lost ground. And what we have done with the action plan is to say, here is the mandate given to us by the people of South Africa in so many, many, many municipalities. What do we do about that mandate? Do we throw out of the window or we serve? The best option we have chosen is to serve. President says, service delivery, perish or death. That is what it's about. We know very well, Koli, and that was addressed and, said succinctly in not so many words by President Ramaphosa, service or death. If we don't service, we will die, to answer your question.
Perhaps before we move on to other subject matters, I asked that question, whether the ambassador dealt with depression. Of course, this is not something that you probably will be aware of, but is the party willing to accept that whatever the circumstances may have been, but ultimately Ambassador Mthethwa took his own life? Is that the final verdict you're willing to take?
Well, it will be difficult at this present moment to accept that, knowing who Nathi was. When we finished the conference and the president was dealing with issues of deployment, Nathi couldn't make it to the NEC and cabinet and so on. He was deployed to France, which was an important decision on the part of the president, given France and its positioning. So that's how we valued Nathi in the ANC, and also as in his role as a senior minister with the years he have accumulated in government. To see a man who have undergone a number of challenges in his life, right now to be told that in France he went through a window at 22 story in France is really unbelievable and tragic. I can imagine the state of affairs in terms of the family, but we're confident that France, with all the resources they have, they will go behind the motive of exactly what happened. But for now, we respect the processes that are there. But I want to tell you, Koli, on no uncertain terms, it is not something that we can come to terms easily.
Yeah.
That Nathi Mthethwa, that we know, could take his life for this and that. But there it happens. We don't know what will be the final verdict.
Yeah.
But may his soul rest in peace, and condolences to his family and all our members, because we too, we are mourning his departure.
Let's then continue the conversation, and I'd like to take us to the Madlanga Inquiry. Worrying testimony has come out of that. You've already told us that the current minister, who is on suspension or a leave of absence, will be appearing before the Integrity Commission. How does the party respond to these claims? And if the commission does conclude that he did do wrong, what will accountability look like?
Clearly, first, let me explain that the ANC support the Madlanga Commission and the steps the president have taken. And we have chosen the path of not running a parallel commentary to what is happening there, because we have only had 3 witnesses now, which is about 4 top cops. The first one was Mkwanazi, and there are others who are still coming. So for everything that is dropping in that commission, for us to have an opinion on it will be problematic in the long term. So it is only appropriate that we accept and give the commission a chance to probe all allegations of sorts, and those who are implicated to account. And then at the end, the judge will investigate and the team and give us the verdict based on the terms of reference. Of course, clearly, what this commission is about is bigger than Zondo, if you were to compare, because it borders on rule of law. That there could be attempts to collapse the rule of law. And I want to repeat, me and you, if the rule of law were to collapse, it means we're not protected. This country is not protected. It's a banana republic. We are run by cartels and criminals. So it's not a matter to be taken lightly. It's a matter that both as a party, if our members are implicated and they're found to be on the wrong side, indeed, heads must roll, and no slogan or rhetoric must actually inform our approach to it. We must be decisive, the same as those who will be expected to act on those recommendations, if there's any wrongdoing.
You once held the Ministry of Police as well. You led it. Are you, at any stage, you are mentioned at that commission, are you willing to go there and answer not in camera, but in full view of the public?
No, I've got no problems with that. I've got no difficulties. As a former Minister of Police, if I were to be asked to answer or anything said about me when I was Minister of Police, willingly, with everything, I will be happy to go to the commission to answer, because our people have been subjected in our country can never be surrendered to criminals. Our country can never be surrendered to criminals, and the president have taken the right decision. And criminals and their networks must be smoked out. And so I don't have difficulties to do that.
All right. Let's talk about the Tembisa Hospital corruption. 2 billion rand has been stolen. The ANC has condemned it, but for many people, this is sounding hollow because there have been so many corruption scandals surrounding either the ANC or people linked to the ANC. Has the party failed, basically, to prevent large-scale corruption like this?
The ANC as a party has mandated and deployed people to oversee corruption. And this is public service corruption around the awarding of tenders. And in this particular instance, the checks and balances within the system must enable government to respond decisively to what has cost life of a person in the exposure of that particular corruption.
Yeah.
The ANC as a party will never be on the side of corruption and corrupt elements. These individuals who are mentioned have got nothing to do with the ANC. They are beneficiaries in the system that we have defined in the public service for all our people to benefit. But crooks and criminals have actually undermined the system. and to a certain extent, in certain instances, aided by people in high offices.
Okay.
So in that regard, where such has happened to people who are deployed by us directly, we will act, and we have acted in that instance. And the rule of law must prevail to such individuals.
You speak as though these individuals are distant from the ANC. The Minister of Police has said, Brown Mokhotsi is my comrade. Is Brown Mokhotsi a member of the ANC?
These characters, Brown Mokhotsi or whoever they can be, have got nothing to do with the ANC. Actually, their credentials are questionable for the mere fact that them claiming the membership of the ANC to be associated with horrible things like what has been reported in the commission. I cannot stand here as Secretary General and say, I pride myself of such members.
No, but Mr. Mbalula, my
I'm
question
saying
is simple.
it
Is he a
does-
member?
it
Have
does-
you gone through your list of members?
I've not gone through his membership of Brian Mokhotsi in terms of his standing in the African National Congress, a matter that my team is going through that, because the things that are associated with him, and in between that, dropping the name of the ANC, I'm getting 12,000 there. That's what is being implicated in to run this particular faction and all of that. These are crooks who have actually, so to say, infiltrated our organization. And it's not alone. There are many. You meet them and then they greet you leadership. Leadership. Everybody is leadership, leadership, leadership. We are comrades. We are revolutionaries. And a party as big as ours has got to cleanse itself from such. And correctly so. Our renewal project is about that. So I'm saying to you on no uncertain terms, the ANC can never be associated with that behavior of such elements.
Whether you like it or not, Mr. Mbalula,
okay.
Whether you like it or not, I apologize for cutting in. This individual, once again, has shown us a clear line through the testimony of this commission thus far that there is a link, a direct link between these individuals and the funding of the party through dirty money. Is that something you're willing to accept?
The money that these individuals have proclaimed or claimed to be direct into the ANC have not even reached the ANC in most instances. They are just name dropping, and that's what they do. And even most instances, dropping names of people who they've got association with, ministers and so on. And in their name, they are benefiting in the system. And I'm saying to you, Koli, and everyone else that there are many who do such activities. And this Brian Mokhotsi thing, I'm sure it's the tip of an iceberg of such characters who are there in the system, exploiting the system, undermining the system in the name that we are doing things for the ANC. And yet the ANC knows nothing about their criminal activities. Nothing. I can tell you that. The ANC as a vehicle, as an organization, is not a beneficiary of such activity. It's just elements who have come through proximity next to political leaders and misusing their proximity and proclaiming the name of the ANC in vain.
Mr. Mbalula, we're going to have to leave the conversation there. It's the people of South Africa, ultimately, that will be the judge of your party. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Koli.
And
Thank you very much.
For your patience.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Fikile Mbalula, the Secretary General of the African National Congress. All right.